17 and then saved me.
Amen.
Amen. And I was destined for a fate worse than prison. I was destined for a place called hell. I would have spent eternity in hell. And I was in a house with two men that were ready to take me there. Ready to take my life that night. And God made it look like there was witnesses. Amen. I stopped. I had a strong urge to stop at Mr. Heroes and get some sandwiches. And when I pulled up, my supplier and his friend come walking out of the bar. I walked over and confronted him. Why you want to kill me? He said, oh, we're not going to kill you. I said, no. He said, I'm not going to kill you. Not you. I know how this works. And I said, look, I got about 10 or 12 people in the end. Or 8 or 10, whatever I told him. He said, bring them all. I don't think they would have killed them all, but he was covering himself. I went in, he said, buy me and my friend a sandwich. I went and bought 12 sandwiches, 12 Mr. Heroes. I come out and looked, and there was nobody in the van but 3 others, 4 of us total. Then I remembered Doug and Ronnie and all my other friends was in another car. That was God.
Yeah.
Because when I went there, I heard him telling his supplier he had other people. He dropped them off. He didn't bring them. That's what saved my life. That's what spared me that night. And then me giving my life to Jesus is what spared me. I walked around the Coliseum and I cried out to God. I said, God, I don't want to go to hell. Please. I want to go to heaven. Please, I'm sorry for everything I've ever done. I didn't know how to say, oh, Heavenly Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. I didn't know how to pray like that. All I knew was, God, I'm sorry for everything I ever did. I don't want to go to hell. Please take me to heaven. And I was expecting to die that day. I really was. I walked around the Coliseum 3 times. The Coliseum's a big building. I walked around 3 or 4 times, and all of a sudden, the starch reality hit me. They're gonna wait till everybody's gone and kill me and leave me in a cornfield. And all of a sudden, I heard the voice of the Lord say, look to your left. I looked to my left, and my van was way over in the distance. I couldn't find it. I was looking everywhere for it. Couldn't find it. But God provided protection.
Amen.
Amen.
Yes, he did.
And then when I went to their house, God made a way with it. They thought there was witnesses. And they let me go. They said, we'll conduct business as normal. But I started praying. I started saying, God, break up this drug ring. Break up the car theft ring. It was just within a few months, the car theft ring was broke up. The drug ring was broke up. He would call me and say, did you know so-and-so? I said, no, I never met him. Oh, man, he got busted with like 20 pounds of cocaine. 20 pounds of cocaine? That's a lot of cocaine. Called me a week later. Did you know so-and-so? No, I never met him. Well, he got busted with like 8 pounds of cocaine. And all these people were getting busted. And I told him, anytime you want me, you come and get me. You call me, I'll meet you, or you come to my house and get me and I'll go with you. He came to my house one day, him and a friend. Came to my house to see how I was doing. He was checking up on me, make sure I didn't run. Because I didn't run and because I didn't go to the lawn, because I sat there and told him, anytime you want me, you come and get me. And for months, baby, I thought I was dying. Every day I'd go out and start my van. So before my mother and my daughter's mother would get in the car. Because remember, Danny Green?
Yeah.
Danny Green, they used to blow cars up.
Yeah.
And this was just a few years later. So I'm thinking, oh, they're going to blow me up. But they're not going to get my family. Amen? And then Sister Donna preached about Hezekiah getting 15 more years. I said, well, wouldn't that be nice if God would give me 15 more years?
Yes.
I've been 41. Today is my birthday.
Happy
41 years old.
Happy birthday.
I look good for 41. I look rough for 41, right? 41 spiritually speaking. Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. The next week, Sister Sexton preached the same message on Hezekiah. A month or 2 later, Sister Connie Lawhan said her 2 boys was caught smoking marijuana at school, asked me if I would give my testimony. Nobody knew my testimony for Brother Gary Reed and Brother Pierce. I have never told anyone in the church. I got up that afternoon, that evening. I began to share the gospel with these kids, my testimony, how I started out smoking pot and went to alcohol pot, then pills, then snorting. And then I was on the verge of shooting up. Because my nostrils, every time I snorted PCP, my nostrils would start to bleed, so I was ready to shoot up within the next day or two. I'd been considering it for a week. Amen. And I shared that story. Brother Gary and Carrie came in late, and they said down at the church on West 6 that there was a cloud of glory over that church, over the whole congregation. And I told this story how that they had sought to take my life. I was sitting in the rock concert. Black Sabbath was on the stage. And I started hearing a voice, beware they'll take your soul, beware they'll take your soul. And there was a light behind me, and every time I looked for that light, there was darkness. I turned back, I could sense the light. I looked back, and there was no light. But every time I turned back, there was light. I could see it, I could hear it. I could hear him speaking. It was an angel of God. Beware they'll take your soul. I started rationalizing. You know, drugs messes you up, man. I started rationalizing. I started thinking, oh, I know. The devil mesmerizes you with this music and gets you high and messed up, and then when you leave the Coliseum, you know, you have a car wreck or you overdose or something, and he gets your soul. So I looked at Karen, my daughter's mother. I said, Karen, don't get into the music. They're trying to take your soul. She said, what? Are you crazy? And I can understand her thinking that, because I wasn't getting it. How many times God give you a message and you just wouldn't quit it? Amen? And then all of a sudden I said, don't you understand that's their job? That's what they have to do. And I don't know if the music died down for a moment or if God allowed him to supernaturally hear it. Carol was here, her sister, and John was here. And all of a sudden I looked over and I see him. He heard me. And when he heard me say, don't you understand that's their job, that's what they have to do, he thought I was talking about them, and I figured out he was going to kill me. And all of a sudden I started glancing over there, and I looked, he went like this and spoke to the people behind him, and he went like this and spoke to the people behind him on that side. I seen them in the back, they were all whispering amongst themselves. He reaches over and says, hey, we're getting ready to leave. I said, why are you leaving? He said, man, this is a bizarre situation, we got to get out of here. He said, I want you to meet me at my house. When I got home, when I got to his house, he was on the on the phone rather, and he told his supplier, there was two guys who were our main suppliers. He told him, he says, somebody put a bottle under my tire. Isn't that strange how it just happened to be under my tire? Gave him a flat, and that's what caused him to be late, and I met him at Mr. Heroes. It was all orchestrated by God. And I want you to know something. God revealed these things to me for months. I'd lay in my bed and God would speak to me and show me everything that happened. I didn't know what happened at the time. But God revealed to me throughout the months everything that took place. After I spoke to the youth service that night, Sister Connie got up. She said, wouldn't it be great that if God would give you 15 more years like he did Hezekiah? 3 confirmations, 3 witnesses. And that day forward, I knew I was okay. He called me shortly after that, a month or 2 later. He had got busted twice. He got busted, went back to court, went back to selling drugs to get money for court, got busted again. He told me they've cut off all communication, our suppliers. They've cut off all communication. I said, what do you think? He said, I don't know, Tim. He said, but you know what I'm going through. In other words, he confirmed. See, because they started spreading a rumor that I flipped out on some bad drugs and started thinking everybody was out to kill me. And I started wondering, maybe I did. Maybe it was my imagination. The devil can fool you. He says he'll confuse the elect.
Yes.
Amen? And he goes, you know what I'm going through. He said, Tim, all I can see, I'm glad you didn't take the escape route. And I kind of chuckled.